Welcome to Tropes and Tantrums. I'm Amber.
And I'm Danielle. We are just two moms, never without our kids or our Kindles.
Welcome back, book besties. We are here recording the Wrapisode.
We are here. Gosh, March was...
book-wise, better month.
So it was a great book month, honestly. It was such a great book month.
We hit 3,000 downloads.
Huge.
And so amazing. So thank you for everyone who listens and all the things.
You know, we super appreciate it. I mean, I know we're like sitting here, we're like recording. And like we don't see anyone, but like when we hear people tell us that they listen, and it's it's like the coolest thing.
It's honestly the coolest thing. It brings me pride and joy.
No, it is. It's like our baby. Like,
It is.
like we have babies, but like we haven't had babies in like a hot minute. So
and
like,
our second one won't come for a while.
Yeah. So like this is like fun for us. Like it's like a thrill.
And we have to nurture this one.
Yeah, this one's taking a little bit longer. Well, technically it hasn't. It's probably been around the same amount of time as cooking a real baby.
Probably. But who's keeping track?
No one. Not us. Not us, clearly, because I think it was July or August. I don't know.
Something like that. We'll have to go back and look.
I mean, it's only April, so like technically, like we're still killing it.
We are.
Honestly.
This is fun.
I love it.
It's the highlight of the month.
It really is. It's a big highlight. And then when we don't do it, like I miss it so much.
So much. And
so
like
much.
We'll even text each other and be like,
like what do we do with our hands?
Counting down till the day that
and we haven't recorded in a long time because we kind of like record early for April? Not for April, for
March.
March's episode, or like it was like very much at the beginning of the month.
It was just like very much at the beginning of the month.
Yeah, and we've lived about. I've lived about 7 lives since that episode.
But like the thing with recording at least like this session, it was Easter, which is the last. Yeah, Easter was early this year. So
was it early? Yeah, I guess it was because it's usually in April. It's April, yeah.
And so the 31st, you were like, "Oh, I'll see you on the 31st. We'll record." And I was like,
"Oh,
well, that's
Easter."
Right, and you're like, "Oh crap, that's right." Yeah. But you had lived 7 lives before that. So.
Y'all, you have not a single clue like what the extent of our lives have been like in the last 4 weeks.
It's just insanity.
Truly. But like great book month.
It was a great book month. I feel like January, February, we were kind of not slumping, but we didn't have like...
I mean, I had very long... Like, I was reading a lot of books.
Yeah. But they weren't like...
This was banger after banger after banger.
Yes.
Honestly. Which
I didn't have a fail until like the end of the month.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was going to say I had a fail, but like, that was actually the beginning of April, so...
That's true.
But you can't see us, but
there will not be a video.
But that's okay. It's okay because we are actually recording from my new house, which everyone will know by the time this episode goes live, which is insane. Like I said, I've lived about 7 lives in the month of March. We're not living here yet, but we're going to be recording here. We're going to have like a cute little studio that's going to be
exciting.
It's going to really feel like us. And I'm excited about it. Not that we don't like love recording in the studio, but like it'll be nice to like...
And if there is a time where we need to go to the studio it's available for us.
It's very close.
Yeah.
They're all very close. So how was your month overall?
My month overall, sure. It was good. I mean...
You're like, sure. It was a month.
It was a month. Like, it was a long month, I felt like. Like, really it just felt like it dragged.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dallas and I had some spats. But you know what?
Mom life.
But we were playing kitchen. I'll just tell a story. We were playing kitchen.
Oh.
We were playing kitchen. And he was like, "Mom, can I get you something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would like a McDonald's crisp Coke."
As
everyone here knows that.
Yeah.
That's my go-to drink if I'm not drinking water.
Yeah.
And he was like, Okay, Mom, I'll get you that. He comes back. Charlie's trailing behind him with a plate of lettuce from the kitchen.
I mean, also as one does.
Thank you for my rabbit food.
I was going to say a little rabbit food.
And he hands me a cup, and I take a sip, and I go, so crispy. He goes, just kidding, it's coffee. Everyone here knows that I don't drink coffee. No. I might be one of the only humans in the world that doesn't drink coffee.
It's true. It's true.
But he was like, no, I was just kidding. It was coffee. So I made like the gagging noise. Like this I'm not going to do it because some people are triggered by that. But like, you know the noise.
No, it's like gross.
And he goes, I'll fix it, Mom. So he goes back to the kitchen. I can hear him rustling around in his play kitchen. Well, I should say Charlie's play kitchen. But I was here listening to him wrestle around in there. And Charlie's sitting next to me. Brings me another cup. Here's your McDonald's crisp Coke. Take another sip. So crisp. Just kidding, Mom. It's coffee. So again, I make a gagging noise. I go, how many times are you going to do this to me? He goes, this time for real, Mom. I'm going to get you a Coke. And I was like, okay. Goes and does it again. Brings me back. Do the whole thing again. Just kidding, Mom. It's coffee. And I was like, quit gaslighting me. Like, are you serious right now?
And then you texted me and you're like, I'm being gaslit.
I was like, my 4-year-old.
I mean, honestly, Shar gaslights me daily.
But I mean, it was a bit for him.
No, it was like a full, like he was doing like a full skit. Like,
it was a full bit. He thought it was hysterical. Charlie thought it was hysterical. I just wanted a crisp Coke. Whether it was fake or not, I wanted
You're
one.
like, you know what? Now.
Can we just really tell Mom that it's actually
come on. Like, come on. Let's not do this anymore.
But this went on for like 4 or 5 rounds, and I was like, okay,
we're done. We're done. You're done.
You're not going to bully me anymore, okay?
You're like, we're not having this anymore. Thank you.
But then the next day was even better. So I'm doing laundry. I'm going back from my room. I fold all the laundry in my bedroom because I can watch the TV and like do my thing.
Yeah, and it's just easier, honestly.
So much easier. So anyway, I'm folding laundry. I'm going back and forth to the laundry room. And I swear to you, Danielle, I probably almost broke my neck twice sliding on either Hot Wheel or Magnetile block.
Those Magnetiles,
on my tile floor, so slick.
No, Eloise just slipped on one the other day and hit her head on a Magnetile. And I'm like, this is, and that stuff extends me because I'm like, I have told you to clean these freaking Magnetiles up 95 million times.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
So I was like, dude, it's quiet time. Your sister's asleep. I get it. You don't want to clean up. But guess what? I have like 3 or 4 more trips to the laundry room to do loads of laundry.
I'm not going today. You're like, today's not the day.
This is not how I go out. I'm sorry. Like I understand that you're having your quiet time and you're coloring and you're doing whatever, but I need you to clean this up.
You're like, today's not the day. Like,
and you're not even still playing with them.
Yeah.
If you were still playing with them, fine.
Totally fine.
But you're not playing. You've moved on to another activity. Let's clean up this activity. I'm tired of fighting you every single night.
Every single time. And I think that's the hardest thing that I think that, parenting is such, like, there's things that people tell you about parenting all the time. And they're like, it goes by so fast, like all the normal, generic shit. But they don't tell you about the things that you will say
over and over and over
and
again.
over. Like things that like you're like, why are those words even coming out of my mouth?
God, I sound like my mom.
No, literally. And you think about it and you're like, oh my God, this is so like nobody tells you about that. So if nobody told you, like, and you're gonna like have a kid and you're like listening to this, there are so many things that you will say so many times over and it will never be enough. Like you will never say it enough times because they will just never do it. And it's like things like, when you're done playing with something,
clean it up,
put it away. And especially like, and not to say like I'm like, Holly homemaker and like everything's put away and like clean all the time.
No, I live in my home. I live in my home.
And there's chaos and this is normal things.
But all your shit has a home.
A place. And I mean, and if it doesn't like, I would say if it doesn't have a place, everything almost always has a place. Like there's like a basket or like a bin or like a thing.
Something.
It was funny. I saw it like unrelated. I saw it at Home Goods the other day. There was this basket that said toys on it.
Uh-huh.
Legit, the basket was like this big around, like so small, you guys. And it said toys. And I'm like,
No.
I'm like, I need about 700
of those.
700. Like, please. Like, what person made this and why are they not a parent? Because I've never fit.
Literally.
Do you know what fits in there?
Did they not do a focus group of moms?
Honestly. And I was just laughing. This, like, is it like for dog toys maybe? I don't know.
Oh, it could be dog toys. That's like small. You don't need a big thing. But so anyway, I was like, dude, I really need you to clean these up. Like, they're literally in the middle of the floor. I know that you built like a Hot Wheel thing with all, like, just, can we take it down? You're not playing with it anymore. I'm like, are you joking me?
You're like,
please stop being dramatic.
You're like, please.
We have this fight every single night before you go to bed. I'm just trying to get this done earlier. So it's less of a mess. Because obviously when sister wakes up, you guys are going to start playing again. Whatever, fine. But like, you probably won't use, like, you're probably not playing with those anymore. Like, and you're going to start playing with something else as soon as she wakes up. And then. Yeah. So he did it. He got up, but it was a fight. Oh my gosh. So I'm in my room folding laundry.
Yeah.
He comes in and he goes, I'm done. And I go, okay, well now you can move on to your bedroom and put all this stuff away.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you just took your Hot Wheels and tossed them in your room on the floor.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, Mom. I go, okay, well, I'll go check. Don't go check. I'll go double check. I'm like, okay, so I know that.
Yeah, that's like,
you just did what I know that you did. That's one of his tells.
No, because Char does the same thing. Char's like,
so annoying.
Char's like, oh, no. Like, I'm like, are you sure about that? You're like,
So then I'm going back to the laundry room to put the basket back in there.
Yeah.
And he goes, don't come in here. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not.
You're like,
I'm trusting
not. You're
you.
like, I'm just trying to get my shit done right now.
I'm like, I'm trusting you that you're getting these things done.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom. And then he comes out and he goes, I finished. I go, you did? Are you sure? He stomps his feet out of my room. Like,
Oh,
and I was like, oh God. He comes back and he goes, Mom, I'm mad. And I go, great, why are you upset? Like, why are you mad? You're just really bossy.
I love that.
And I go,
I love when they say that.
I literally shrugged. I was like, oh well. He goes, no, I'm mad that you're so bossy. And I go, but you know what? I'm your mom.
Yeah.
I am the boss.
Why is that a conversation we have to have all the time?
Because I think they have to. They have to know the boundary. They have to know the boundary. They have to cross that boundary.
It's such a power struggle.
It is. It is, especially when they're trying to find their own independence.
Yep.
And they just want to understand. I don't know about Char too much, but I know about Dallas is that he has to know where the line is.
Oh gosh,
he has to know,
like, how close they can get to this line.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he also just needs he has to know, he has this like thirst to know things.
Yes, yeah.
I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And he just,
like, everything needs to have like an answer. There needs to be like, has to be like a consistency, a procedure, like, this is how things are going.
Yes.
And this is how we do things. And then, like, how much can we...
How far can he
push that? Yeah.
Before Mom or Dad breaks.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to, like, avoid all of the drama before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let's just get ahead of it. Like, this is what we should do. You
and
know?
It's hard because, like, in our heads, like, we have, like, there's, like, so many little things when you're, like, parenting children, especially, like, at the age that
our kids are at.
Our older kids are at. Because they still don't have, like, a concept of time either.
Yes.
And so they feel, like, I know with Char especially, like, if I'm like, hey, we gotta start getting ready for dance, like, I have to do her. No, I'm, like, in the middle of watching this, and I'm like, you literally, like, the faster that we do this, the more time you're gonna have to do other stuff. But she thinks, like, if we're stopping doing this, like, it's done, we're done, like, everything's over, like, life's ending. And it's, like, a bit, but, like, it's, like, there's so many things that we just don't think about, like, as parents, like, that are, like, they're still, like, processing these, like, weird concepts in their head that don't make sense to them.
Yes.
But they don't know how to articulate it.
No, like, okay, it's a perfect example. Yesterday, we were coming home from my book club meeting that ended up just being, like, it turned into, like, a brunch, and then it just ended up being, like, an all-day thing, which was great. The kids, some people brought their kids, and it was just, like, a whole thing, and everybody had a blast. But we're driving home, And Dallas goes, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Dallas goes, can we have quiet time when I get home? I'm like, no, we're literally going to go home, talk to your dad, and figure out dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, I didn't even have lunch. And I go,
yes.
Okay. You snacked all day.
Yeah.
I said, so we were going to have dinner. It's dinner time. Mm-hmm. And he goes, no, but I didn't have
lunch. It
always, didn't happen in his routine.
Yes, and that's Char's the same way.
Like threw him for a loop for a minute.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh gosh, I can't. I'm like, dude, we're just going to go home, figure out dinner with Dad, and then we'll kind of go from there. Yeah. I'm telling you, my kids went to bed a whole hour before their actual bedtime, and we're out. When I left this morning, Dallas was still asleep. He had a sleepover Friday. Yeah. Had golf Saturday. Yeah. And then came to the book club meeting. My dad dropped him off at the book club meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
And we and then he played all day. Mm-hmm. And so.
Well, and I think also when they're out of their routine and they're doing, because even yesterday, like, we were at my cousin's baby shower all day, and girls were playing up a storm. Yeah. And then, like, they're overtired. They're like overstimulated. There's so many people. It's like just so much, and then like they're having meltdowns, and you're just like,
we gotta go.
This is not the vibe.
That was exactly like Dallas. I was like, hey dude, like let's go home. Like your dad's been home for like a few hours. Yeah. You know, from work. Like let's go home. And he goes, I don't want to leave. And I was like, no, like I get it, but when you act like that, people don't invite you back to their house.
No, and also
I was like, let's go clean up all the messes that you guys made. Because, well, I didn't make all the messes. And I go, I understand that, but you have to, these people let us into their home. You have to respect their home.
Their space,
we need to clean up. And, like, the
Char
mom
cleans
was
better.
like,
Char cleans better at other people's houses. She cleans at my own. And I'm like,
absolutely.
Where is this person that you...
But I always have to remind myself, when he does stuff like that, and he's like, be better... is more behaved somewhere else.
I know. It's
because we're their safe space and like all
for
things.
Sure. And I'm like,
be a monster with me. Just be a gentleman and like kind.
And he is just like house. In case like you have not had the pleasure of meeting Dallas, he is one of the most respectful and like polite and kind little people that I've like ever met. And I'm like, that's like not me.
Stop! I'm literally gonna cry right now. Like I know that about my son.
No.
And, like, the fact that he is known for that is so nice to hear because he can be, like, a literal monster at home. Yeah. But because I'm in safe space and, like, he's just trying to find the boundary, and I understand that. And he's going to be 5 literally next month, which is insane. Yeah. But... I get that, but like when people like recognize that, like it's so nice to hear.
I've never seen a different side of him. Like, and obviously like you told me stories and like, so I know like, and as a parent, I know it exists for every child, but like genuinely, like you guys.
Oh my gosh, I'm like legitimately like crying now. Oh my gosh.
Just like you guys, like he like genuinely is like one of my favorite little kids. Like he really is. And like, I don't like This is me being extremely vulnerable. I don't like other people's kids. Like I'm really sorry to dampen the mood. I'm like, and it's maybe it's apparent. I don't really give a shit, quite frankly. But like, I just don't I don't like hang out with other people's kids. Like I just like, because I feel like so many kids,
well, and your girls are very calm. They're not, I mean, they've been in my home and they're not terrors. No. They're not destructive. They're not.
No, only at my house.
Well, again, safe space.
Safe space. Yes. As I found Eloise on top of the Barbie dream house, which is taller than her. Lovely. And I like literally, and then Char's like convincing her to jump off. And I'm
Tell me why that's something that would happen in my house.
And I'm like,
with my children.
And I'm like,
in the same order.
No, literally, she's staring, and I walk in. So I walk in from, because, like, I'm not getting into details, but it's been a rough month for me, like, physically. So I've been spending a lot more time finding a place of rest because I needed to. Physically, I was incapable of going as hard as I go, which
yes.
is very hard. So I've been in bed a lot, and resting a lot. And so I come out of my bedroom because I hear Shar said, just jump. And I'm like, just jump off of.
The final words. The words that make you just get up.
Yep.
Whether you want to or not.
Yep. Jump.
Yeah.
Wherever. Because
whatever you're doing, stop.
You have no idea where they're jumping from, where they're on top of.
Yep.
You have no idea how high it is. Nothing. So I come out of my bedroom, walk down the hall, and the Barbie dream house is up against the corner, and Eloise is on top of it. And it's taller than Eloise. It's like 3.5 feet. Like, it's really freaking tall. And Char's on the Nugget couch, and she's facing Eloise, like convincing Eloise to jump off and onto the Nugget. Because they had made, like, a landing pad.
Well, I mean,
we love that.
Safety first.
No, literally. So I walk out, and Eloise, like, obviously spots me because she's facing me, but Char's facing Eloise. So she's back to me. And she's like, Eloise, just jump. Like, why aren't you jumping? And literally, like, Eloise, like, doesn't say anything because obviously she knows this is not this is not a good thing that mom is now up. And Char turns her head around like she's seen the ghost of fucking Christmas Past, which was me. And she was like wide-eyed. She's like, I wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, bro, I literally could hear you.
Yeah.
I could hear you. And then she's like, I just didn't. And I was like, did you tell her to get up there? No. Did you tell her to jump? No. I'm like, yes, you did. You absolutely did. And it was like, because, and like you said, I appreciate that you saying my girls are calm because they truly are calm, not in my home. But when they're at home, I'm like, they were just stir crazy because we had been home for so many days, and it was just a really hard month for us all together. And they knew that. The girls knew that I was physically not where they expect me to be, because we're usually out and we're doing things. And like, I mean, there were days I couldn't take Char to dance, and so it was just a lot, like, mentally to like keep them in the house. And like, I appreciate, and there's just a lot of change just going on, obviously, with the new houses, which they're thrilled about. But yeah, it's just like, it's like a totally different thing when they're home versus out. And you know, like I said, I will always take them being chaos at home versus out.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why, literally, like I said, it's why I am so particular about the children that my kids spend time with, because you don't want and like, here's the thing, you do you as a parent, whatever. Some parents just don't pay no parents the same. Yeah. But it's hard sometimes when there's behaviors and things that your kids, as young kids, because our kids are still young, they think are acceptable behaviors because they see other people doing it, and they're not acceptable behaviors in our home. Maybe in another home they're acceptable, but in our home they're not. Or in public, and like, that's not okay with me. Like restaurants, things like that, where it's like, we just don't play that. And I just like am so particular about the way that I want my children to know that this is how we act in certain situations.
Yes. And I always, like, mom always says, like, my kids were invited back more places than I was. Yeah. And it was like, I would want the same thing for my kids.
Oh, 100%. And that's huge. And like I said, we, you know, I'm grateful for the kids getting along so well, like our kids. Yeah. Because obviously, like, your kids are so kind and respectful, and that's the behavior I would want my own children to, you know, be modeled after. And here's the thing, and it would go vice versa. Like, I would be okay with Amber being like, hey, don't do that. Like, if that's like, because I would trust her, like, if it was something dangerous or unsafe, or, you know, because I trust her as a parent, because I see the way that she parents her kids. And there's just some parents, I just don't, I just don't take that, and I just don't see that as
like, obviously, like, we're not perfect.
Oh, gosh,
but,
no.
But, like, we have our moments where we're overstimulated.
All the time, every day.
Literally every day. Or we're not having, like, a great day, or, like, we're struggling with something and things like that. But for the most part, like, I just want my kids to be respectful humans of society.
And I think that's like...
And be kind to everybody.
And that's 100% exactly what I think that, you know, when you have kids, you go into it kind of like... Blind, no expectations. Like, and you're just like, however, like, this turns out, like, I have to do the best that I can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important because then if your kids only have one model of what they think a mom should be like, and that's us. So we only have that as their guide, like for like what a good mom is, because they've never had anything else.
Correct.
And they're still so young that, like, obviously you and I have lived enough life. We see the way people parent. We've seen, you know, certain things that you're like, you know what, that's not what I would want to do or model for my children.
Correct.
And
or like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Like, I have a friend who I adore her so much, and her boys and all the things, and you've met her.
Yes.
And she just has this, if you don't know her, you think that she's just like this laid back, okay, whatever. Yeah. But like, she's not. She is just very kind, patient.
It's a trust.
Understanding.
It's a trust thing.
Yeah. And when I see her with her boys, and it's that moment of like, just, they're running, high.
Yeah.
And she can just like calmly just bring that. I'm like, sit down, be quiet. Oh my God. And just to like watch her just, and it shows me like, okay, so patience is like, that does exist with children. Okay, I should try practicing that sometimes a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I try, but sometimes you need the sit down and shut up.
Like, no, you really do. And it's finding that balance because, you know, and I was talking to my cousin about it the other day, and it's like, some days you have days and you're just like, we took our girls to get their nails done. And it was...
Ella's living her life.
She was until she wasn't.
Oh.
And it just got really chaotic.
Yeah.
And it just... You're very overstimulated as a mom. Like, I mean, my cousin's like 8 months pregnant. Like, God bless her that she has a 3-year-old and is taking her to the nail salon still. It was a lot. And I kind of was just like, okay, like, these days like exist, they're fine. And you like, sometimes you freak out and you yell and you say that, and you're like, God, I wish that I wouldn't have said that. And you have these moments you're like, I don't want to like fuck my kids up, like where they think like I yell too much. But then I think about, okay, these moments are fewer and far between because I recognize that that's not the way I want to be all the time.
Yes.
And I think that that's such a big difference as far as like, as a parent, you think about it and you're like, oh my God, like you're like, because I recognize it, that makes me a better parent. And that makes me like...
Well, because you're noticing it within yourself.
And it's when you don't see that and you're not like... Because like, I immediately, if I yell, I'm like, oh my God. If not like immediately, it's like within like the hour. And I'm like...
You're just like... And then you're going back and you're just like, hey, like...
I'm so sorry.
Mommy's sorry.
Yeah.
But let's also... No, there's no but. Mommy is sorry for the way she reacted. I'm going to try to do better.
Yes.
And... we're all going to work together to get to a place where we're understanding each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
To help one another out. So no one's yelling at somebody. We're not both crying. Like, it's just...
It's a lot.
It's a learning curve for everybody.
And I mean...
parenting is not easy.
No, and
if it was easy, everyone would do it. And it's not for everyone.
No, it isn't. And you know what? I think of it is you and I have only been parents as long as our kids have been alive. Yeah. So like, we're like, okay, they're still little. We're technically still little in the parenting scope of life. And we don't always put enough care into like thinking that we should have it all together all the time. And I think this past month has taught me so much about being more caring more about like myself and taking care of myself as a person, because I can't be a good mom if you're not taking
care of myself, because a week just for yourself.
It's been a ride. It's been a ride. Because
really, I agree.
It's been hard. It's been so hard because I just do not. I'm in a weird season of my life because I've spent so much of my time. I've been working full time since I was 20. And I'm now, because even when I had Shar, I had her at 37 weeks. I was working full time up until literally the weekend. I went into labor.
Yeah.
Came back after 12 weeks to working full time with Shar at work with me. And then obviously 2019, I stepped back and went part time right pre 2020, like right before, and got pregnant with Eloise. And I was like, and so I didn't I was still working, but not working. I don't know. It was different. And I really took a step back in the last 6 months from taking clients because I work for myself, obviously, and I really took a step back in trainings and taking clients and all the things, and I've really struggled with where that places me as a person, because my success in my life has always been measured monetarily by work and that accomplishment, despite having been a mom and being a mom being its own separate pedestal of success and and
but for you
for me
individually,
and that's my whole thing. My whole thing has been I work and I I push myself and I do all these things, and I've been forced to slow down because I don't feel the fulfillment that I felt before. I just don't enjoy it the same, and it's a very odd feeling, and I don't express it.
Is that because you've taken a step back on getting clients and all the things, or is it just I think it's just fulfilling you at all?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
I think it's a combination of both. I just don't love it anymore, and I used to love it, and I think I just was I
think you found a different passion.
Well, and I think it's just because it was really hard for me to admit, because I'm I don't love that, and I don't love feeling I don't know what my days look like.
Yeah.
And
you want the schedule, you want the routine.
No, I do, because that's what I thrive off of, and I just have been kind of stepping back, and so because as someone who works in social media, I have to create content. That's what I do. It's my job. It's how I get work. And so when that was not my goal, I stopped creating content because I was I'm not doing this. And for those of you who do not know, probably, I have been on the internet, as a quote unquote content creator, influencer, blogger, whatever, since 2011 or 2010, 2010. And my whole life has been online. And so it's funny how I don't get joy from that anymore, because I was I was doing it for work and I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it to make money and to get clients and all this stuff because I was good at it. And obviously, and then it's funny because now being a mom, I'm I just don't, it's just wasn't the thing. I don't want to chase the hustle culture anymore.
Yeah. And
so I kind of stepped back a lot in the last few weeks, because I've had copious amounts of time to reflect on where I'm at. And it's funny because I was I've separated being a mom and working and but who am I as a person? Mm-hmm. Aside from those things?
Yeah.
And so it's been a little bit of a ride of okay, we're going to figure out where we're at in what I want to do, because I don't I want something that's mine, and I want to feel something. Obviously we have the podcast, and that's ours, and that's brings us joy, and that hopefully brings us more down the road whenever that happens. I don't really care because I just love doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just been different. And I think that like as moms who like went from like their whole life, like, you know, being defined by like their work and like all that kind of stuff, and then to be like people being like, oh, like you're a stay-at-home mom, like I'm like, do you know what staying at home do you know what staying at home means? Because staying at home is not, that's
for the faint of heart.
That is the most unpaid job that is not getting paid for your time. People are like, oh, well, like, you know, like I'm not like making my worth, and like I'm not getting I don't get a raise for being a stay-at-home mom. Like I don't get a lunch break. I'm not getting a lunch break. I don't get PTO. No, I mean, when I'm sick, I'm working. Like I'm like, and it's just been a weird like ride. The last month specifically, I think just made me really step back and be like, I just like need to find like me and what makes me happy. And I, you know, have worked so hard to build my social media accounts, and I'm like, oh, well, these just like sit dormant because I just don't feel the joy anymore. Yeah. And then I was like, why? I was like, I need to do things like for me. Like if I want to make content, great. Like I'll make the content, and like, it's not about like whatever the numbers are and whatever, because that's just been my whole life is like, how do I like do more? And yeah, so who knows what that next era will look like once I start getting this house situated, and and I feel like that'll be like a big weight off my shoulders once we.
Well, you got still a lot of work to do in this house.
Well,
after us talking about
the whole house, just the whole house. Yeah, I know we like went on like a full tangent, but
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. This is where we're at. So yeah, that's where I'm at as far as, you know, momming and all the things.
Well, we took that road trip.
We did. I feel like we can't fully talk about the road trip until the Swift and Saddled episode.
Okay. Well, we can briefly talk about it.
We can briefly talk about it. We had a great time.
Yeah. We got home earlier than I thought we would.
We did. We did get home earlier. It was a very like mini road trip. And it was just a good time.
And it was so nice to like meet Lyla, and like
she's wonderful.
She's so kind.
She was so wonderful. She was exactly as like you would expect her to be.
Yes.
Which I like loved. Like I appreciate when people like are authentically themselves, like in person, and you just like, and they genuinely like love what they do, because like
you could feel it.
I
mean, you feel it when you read her books, but like
no, when you. And you haven't started yet, but I will say the reading experience was incredible. And I don't like it was an amazing book for me. But reading it after meeting her and hearing her talk about how much she loves the setting and these characters and how much you like. It's a different experience. And I don't know if that's how it is meeting any author, because I've never met another. This was our first one. And like obviously her books are good. So like that obviously
talk to authors.
Yes, we do, but like
DMs, but
it's true. But like meeting them in person, it's kind of just like it feels so different.
Yeah.
And when you hear like the passion and like what they have for their careers, and I don't know, like that's obviously probably not consistent across the board. Like every author, I'm sure, like loves what they do, but like I don't know, I'm sure at varying degrees. But when you hear her speak about like what this means to her, it's like it's very humbling to read her books, because you feel like what a fucking privilege to read these words that she's written, like honestly. And you'll feel, and like I know you'll feel it, because like very similar in the way that we read, but like when you like are reading this book for like the first time, you like are like, she like loves these people, and like
I can't wait.
I'm telling you, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like and like maybe like all, like I said, maybe not all authors aren't like this, like, but in person, like having met her and heard her like talk about this whole journey, and obviously now she's getting a freaking TV series, which is
amazing,
absolutely insane. Also, I don't know how she sat up there and like didn't say anything, like didn't even like hint at it. I'm like, You're working on a fucking TV series for these books that just came out less than a year ago, and you, like, I would be fucking bursting at the seams. Like, I would be...
No, yeah, you would. You would. I need to tell the world. I need to stand on a rooftop somewhere.
No, I would literally... They'd be like, don't tell anyone. And I'd be like, everyone, Amber? You can't tell. And I'd be like, everyone here at this book, you can't tell anyone, but I'm going to tell you because I can't keep it to myself anymore. And she did not do that. And I'm like, holy shit.
That's insane.
Like, well, so well deserved. As just Absolutely. A human, just like a good, solid human, like, amazing. And Absolutely. she gave us the largest compliment without even knowing that she gave us a compliment.
Should I say in my true Amber fashion?
Yeah, you should.
In true Amber fashion, I kept it together until I met her. So, my last name is Brooks, and in Dun and Dusted, Luke Brooks is the...
Also, if you haven't read this book, like
you really should have done listen to our episode, because it's chef's kiss. But anyway, when I read Dun and Dusted and I read the name Luke Brooks, I immediately was like, I need to have another child, and the child's name needs to be Luke Brooks. For those who don't know, I have my tubes tied. There is no more baby making happening.
You're like, for everyone who doesn't know, and also now Lyla Sage, who also knows,
does know
now.
So we get up to the table.
She also asked me.
Before I got
and I said, sure.
She's like, just say it. Like, who cares? And I was like, okay. So I'm like, she's saying my
I would never. First of all, myself would never.
No, you would never. I literally just looked at her and go, Luke Brooks, I want to name my child Luke Brooks. And she's like, I love that. And I was like, well, my last name is Brooks. So it just would fit, but I'm not having any more children. My tubes are tied. And she goes, oh, okay. So do you want me to write Amber or Amber Brooks? And I was dying. I was just Amber. Like, Amber's fine.
Amber.
We left there and I was like, that was so embarrassing. But so on trend for me. Absolutely
expect on nothing trend. Less. But
I did hold back a few times.
Yeah.
With fellow book people.
She did. She really kept it together, which I was very proud of. She did straighten
interject
she did
myself into conversations where I don't belong.
No, and it's okay. She did straighten every bookshelf and every book and every sticker. And Lyla did say to us.
Oh, she did.
That
we said that we can't wait to read this. This will be our book
for our next
podcast.
By the way.
Oh, what's your podcast? And I said, oh, we read Dun and Dusted for our podcast called Tropes and Tantrums, and then we reviewed it and talked about it on an episode.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my gosh, I've listened and I've seen your content.
You're so...
I could have died right there and been happy.
Done. We were done.
I mean, just to know that Mandy Muse is an avid reader. Hello, Mandy. Listener. How are you today?
Avid listener.
It sends me. Like, I love that. I love that. And then,
yeah. It makes us...
Another author reached out and sent me a little, thank you gift for something.
Amazing.
And she, she even said, listening to you talk about my book on your podcast was...
the
coolest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And that is why we do what we do. This is why we're here.
I mean, we also do what we do because we love it.
Well, because we love it, and I want to talk about all the books that I've read. But, to have that recognition from the authors, it's,
the best. It's so good. We don't need it.
I don't need the thank you. I don't need to know that you've listened, but,
there's nothing that gives Amber a bigger serotonin boost.
Honestly.
There's two book related things that give Amber the biggest serotonin boost, and I know that for a fact. Is number one, finding out that authors thank her or send her things or
I don't need
give her
things.
She doesn't need it, but she loves the things, and then she gets to do little videos. The other thing is when people tell her that they love her book recommendations.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Makes my whole day. I could be having the worst day. It could be, whatever happened. Yes. And then I get a text message from somebody going, you've got me out of my book slump. Your book recommendations
She's
are
done.
amazing.
She's
I'm
like
my
done.
whole day has just turned around.
Yeah, she could slip on 500 Magna tiles at that point.
Yeah, I could literally broke my neck and I get a text message that says that.
Amazing. She could literally be in
Whole
a neck
day's
brace
changed.
and her whole
I
day's
wouldn't
better.
even care. I'm in the hospital. I don't even care.
Oh my gosh.
No, literally, when Elodie was on her, like...
I knew you were going to say, I knew. I was like...
And she was texting me the whole time. Like, she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I have to listen to you more about your book recommendations because...
You're like,
books
as you
literally
should.
got me out of my book slump. But I go, I'm telling you guys, like...
My stepmom said the same thing the other day because my dad, bless his heart...
Oh my gosh,
he's never going to fucking
hysterical.
listen to this because he doesn't.
He doesn't even know that you do this.
No, he doesn't know I do this.
Apparently,
literally, as we're in there at least once a month when he literally walks by the window and like watches us. When I told him that like we were going when we have like a book podcast, and he like yells at my stepmom. He's like, "Did you know that she had a book podcast? Whatever." And she's like, "Yeah. Like, where do you think like I get like most of my like recommendations for books from?" And then my lovely 5-year-old comes over. I said, "Hey, Shar, can you come here for a second?" She comes over and I said, "What does mom do with Amber?" "Oh, she has a podcast." And then I said, "What's a podcast about?" "Oh, books." So when my 5-year-old knows, like that's like the most dad thing though. So like it's not like that wild, I guess.
It's so funny. My dad laughs. Okay, so if you don't know, I'm also on TikTok. I'm trying to navigate book talk. But I'm not doing it for like clout or like whatever.
Book talk is
like,
also a different animal altogether.
It's such an animal.
It's oh my god.
But you know what? I don't care. I'm doing it for myself.
You're not. No, you're doing it for yourself. But I'm just saying that it just some of it is just so fucking dramatic on there. Like, people are so obnoxious. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like,
there are
no
some
offense.
people.
No offense to people, but also shut the fuck up.
I'm on TikTok, and my dad loves when I come across his FYP.
I love your dad is like,
and he goes, I think it's so funny watching your wrap up videos of your month. He's like, you are hysterical. And I go, like, thanks. I worked really hard on that. You don't know how long that actually takes to shoot. Thank you. He goes, but it's so funny because he's like, you're so passionate about it, and like you really talk about the books, and I go, well, thanks, Dad. I appreciate you recognizing that you should listen to the podcast. And he goes, we're not going to take it that far. And I go, okay, thanks. So then Alex, he just goes through on TikTok and just like. And I'm like, could you at least watch? Like, give it a view? Like, he's like, I don't need the information. I don't need the content. I'm supporting you by liking.
He's
and I was like,
I live in the house and I hear you.
Yeah, literally.
Day. He's like,
he goes, I don't need to listen to the content. I'm supporting you by liking it. I was like, yeah, but if you view it all the way through.
Yeah, tell him it's better engagement.
Yeah.
Say, if you'd really like to support me, you would listen all the way through. You
like,
can mute it. Tell him you'll just mute it.
He goes, I already follow your bookstagram. I already follow your podcast.
He's
Instagram.
like, I'm doing all
the
of
most
the
already.
He's like, I'm doing all of the book husband things.
I'll like
stop.
open TikTok because I don't have the notifications on.
Yeah.
And so I'll just like open and I'll like have a bunch of stuff and I'll like click on it and it'll be like 12 likes. I'm like, oh cool, and I open it up and it's all my husband, and I was like, you couldn't have at least like watched it all the way through? Like, come on, dude.
He's like, no.
Not gonna happen.
I guess at some point we
should dive into our wrap up. Yeah. Okay, so why don't you head in? How many books did you read?
I read 9 books.
Woohoo!
It was at 33 out of 100 for 2024, 16 out of 16 on the Kindle challenge, because as you know, I cannot lose a Kindle challenge by any stretch of imagination. My brain does not allow me. 78% Kindle, 11% print, 11% audio. Average rating 4.58 for the month, which was really fucking solid, honestly.
But you had like we said earlier, you had bangers.
I had bangers. I actually really struggled to pick my top reads. So I'm going to talk about my top 3 reads, and then my biggest surprise I thought would be fun, because I was like, what was the book that I didn't expect I was going to love as much? Because we know what yours was, but and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the next episode. But my top reads, obviously it was Tandem Read Month, which was huge.
How did you, I forgot. Did you? I know you probably did tell me, but I just like forgot. Did you rate it separately or did you rate it together?
No, I rated it separately.
Okay.
Because they're very different. Yes, and I went in pretty blind, which I don't normally do for books, but for Throne of Glass, I've been going in pretty blind, to really just elevate the reading experience for myself. But I rated them separately because they're two completely separate plots, and there's not any crossover whatsoever because it's the same timeline, but they're different groups of characters. So Empire of Storms was 5 stars easily, best book so far in the series. Just incredible from start to finish. It was just amazing. I mean, Tower of Dawn was also, I think I rated it 4.5. So still amazing. Mm-hmm. Together, bar none, the best reading experience I've ever had in my life. And I would, for people who are very, intimidated by the Throne of Glass situation. Like, the reading order, the tandem read is very scary for people. It's very daunting because
the books are so thick.
They're so thick. I mean, these were 600 pages each. Like, they were more than 600 pages. One was like 680, I think, and the other one was like 606 or something. Daunting to read, to pick up, especially in a together situation where you're flipping back and forth. And obviously there were times I just forgot to switch back because I'm a lunatic and I was.
You had texted me a few times.
Yeah,
you're like,
it happened. It happened a bunch of times. It's fine.
But she did, you guys. So she did like tab both books.
I did tab both books.
Switch.
I had the
Kindle read.
The Kindle read, which is probably, if you're a Kindle girl, that's the very best way to do it because you're just reading straight through and it's as if you're reading one book, which is really the way to go. So if you are embarking on the tandem read, please reach out to me so I can send you the link directly because you will not be able to find it on TikTok anymore.
I was lucky I found it when I did.
No, literally, because they pulled it like a couple days later, which obviously, because I understand, but like for me, I'm not justifying I'm not justifying like getting books for free. That's not what I'm justifying. I bought the audiobooks and I bought the copies of the books physically, and I have the Kindle versions of the book. So please do not come for me. I'm not that person. I'm not the person to come for. But if that's the way you want to do it, it was an incredible reading experience. I have been warned, obviously, Kingdom Bash will destroy me mentally, physically, emotionally, all of the things.
Who told you that?
A lot of people.
Oh, okay.
It's just like it's
I was wondering if Kristen told you.
No. One of our authors actually DM'd me and said, like, when she saw that like I had on my TBR and she like DM'd me, she's like, it's just like an incredible experience. Like, it's like, it will destroy you though.
Lovely.
Which I love. Please tell me.
Honestly, sometimes you just need like that book that just like
it's also 900 pages. So I'm saving it for, like I said, this month. That's where we're at. But Empire of Storms, easily my favorite book of the whole series so far up till this point. My other top read, obviously Swift and Saddled. Will not go into details. Easy 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. Please stay tuned for next month when we do cover it together. For me, might be better than Done and Dusted. For me, might. And I don't know if it was the rep. I don't know if it was the character. I don't know. Like I said, it could have been having met her and really now having that deeper connection with the book. Easy 5 stars. Also, Kennedy Ryan's new book, This Could Be Us, which I think I was finishing at the beginning of the wrap-up. I was talking about it, but that came out this month. That came out in March. Did that come out in March? February? March? Yeah, March. Came out in March. God, months. Right. Kennedy Ryan's follow-up to Before You Let Go. Absolutely incredible. Easy 5 stars. Her writing is poetic and just incredible.
It's one of your faves.
Oh, she's amazing. An insta-buy author for me. It was single mom, single dad.
I love when both are single parents. It's an interesting read.
It was so interesting because there's so many dynamics. It also has
you have to like find the dynamic of like blending all of the young children
and the single dad was the parent of 2 children with autism.
Oh, wow.
So it was also, that was really empowering to read, is to get that rep of like seeing like how it is to parent in that form, because it's completely different. The books, she like, it's just amazing, like, because she becomes a single mom in a really unconventional way, and she has all girls and he has all boys, and it's just a really powerful read about like finding yourself like as like in a new season of your life. It was really like a good read. Biggest surprise 5-star for me though was Tia Williams' A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. It's actually centered around Leap Day, which is really like, it was so cool. And it's a very like interesting trope that I love, is magical realism, where there's some aspect, it's not fully like fantasy, but like there's aspects of it, like The 7-Year Slip or like The Dead Romantics, like those books just like really like, I just like love it. They're like so like cozy feeling for me. And I had read Tia Williams' 7 Days in June last year, and it was incredible. She also writes very similarly to Kennedy Ryan. They did like a book event together, and like what I would have done to like be in that room to like hear both of them, because they're just the way they write is so like beautiful. But honestly, if you're like into like the magical realism and like it's like a romance, and it was just a beautiful story, and I devoured it. It was so good. So I had 11 books on my TBR, and I read 8 of them off of the TBR, which was honestly really fucking solid for me. As we know, it just doesn't happen that often. But yeah, it was a really solid reading month. I mean, like having like an average rating of like 4.58 is like really freaking solid for the month. And I'm like actually like so thrilled about it. But I do anticipate April to be better, because all of my books are bangers in April. I have like very high hopes for all the books in like, I'm not going in with like very high expectations for every single book I'm reading in April. So so hopefully they all live up.
Like
fingers crossed they all live up. So that's where I'm at for March.
Okay, so let's get into mine. Ouch. I read 8 books in the month of March and DNF'd 1. Which was the last book. Yeah. Unfortunately. Which was hard, but I'm glad that I did it. Yeah. To be honest. So I read about 3,000 pages. I'm at 24 out of 130. That was by the end of March. Now I'm at like 26. My average was 4.3. And I did 14 out of 16 for the Kindle challenge. I think I didn't have a perfect month because I was reading physical copies. I had more physical copies last month than I did Kindle books, which is fine. My March favorites were, and surprisingly, Fourth Wing.
Incredible.
By Rebecca Yarros.
We made it. We did it. We did it, you guys. It's time.
Just wait for that episode.
God, I'm so excited.
And then also Double Play by A.K. Landow, which was she has dove into the sports romance universe, and it was a grand slam.
I love when authors cross over and they're.
I mean, she went from like contemporary romance.
No.
Sports, like it wasn't like she did like fantasy to. Romance. Romance.
But honestly, you were really anticipating that, so I'm glad that it like.
I was really excited because I've
lived up the hype.
If you've been here before, you know that I've talked nonstop about City Sisterly Love series that she did, and then the extension of that, which is Bells of Broad Street, which I highly recommend if you need something fast paced. Spicy, banter's great, world building is great, character development is great. I highly, highly recommend both of those series by A.K. Landow, and you have to read them in order. You have to. Like, you can't.
It's not negotiable.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read them, but like, I'm trying.
I'm trying.
You guys, if I like, it's this summer. I actually have to take like a little bit of a breather off of like all my series nonsense. I mean, I just started another series this month, so like that's happening. But we're here. We're here.
It is what it is. But, like, my other books that I read were just Fourth Wing, 5 stars. Cross-checked. I'll talk about, I received that in ARC. It was a novella. I'll talk about in the ARC segment, A Journey Spared by Alexandra Grace. Another ARC that I'll talk about in the ARC segment, Reign of Wrath. That's a book in a series that I'm still working on. 4 stars. Double Play, gave 5 stars. Reckless by Elsie Silver, 4.5. Hours by Mandy Muse. I'll talk about more in the ARC segment as well. And then I read Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy.
Which I DNF'd. Just...
Yeah, you DNF'd. I gave 3.5. It is, I believe, to be a very enjoyable coming of age story. Does it have a little bit of unrealistic trends? Yes. But like, what book doesn't, honestly?
I mean, every book.
But I enjoyed that book better than I enjoyed Good Girl Summer.
And y'all, I only DNF'd it because she rated it 3.5. Because I was like, it wasn't that I got like 20% in, and I probably would have finished it because I have like this really terrible thing about I can't DNF a book that's for book club, which it was for. But when she rated it 3.5, I was like, better not. It was just the mood I was in because I was riding so high from, all the other books I was reading. So like I didn't. Yeah.
I mean, it's enjoyable. It's a love triangle, and it's got a little bit of mystery, and all that stuff was like so fun to read about and things like that. But yeah, just wasn't a 4, but wasn't a 3.
Yeah.
And
reading is subjective. We know.
Honestly, Elle Kennedy, off campus in Briar U, just sits on
in a pedestal.
Yeah, and it just so good. What are your exciting April releases?
Okay, so some of these have already been released, but that's fine because they're just like new releases in April. That's what I base it off of.
Yeah.
So obviously Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer, just released last week, first week of April. We're reading it for our book club, but yeah, I would have read it regardless.
I'm actually really excited to read it.
I'm so excited. People say it's like her best yet, and
and I've only read part of
Your World.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you read Yours Truly as well because you would really love Yours Truly.
I've heard mixed things about that one.
Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it even more than Part of Your World.
Okay.
So I'm gonna and it has like a letter writing aspect, which I love when she like.
Yeah,
I love
that.
I love a love letter, and I don't know why it's sick. Also, Elsie Silver's book Wilde Love comes out the 9th, so the same day you're listening to this. It's her extension series off of Chestnut Springs. I've also heard amazing things about. I have not finished Chestnut Springs because it's me and I can't finish a goddamn series to save my life. Except for this month, I will be finishing another series. Also, How to End a Love Story. I'm definitely going to pronounce this author's name wrong. Yulin Kwang. That also comes out today.
Today as in the day that we're recording.
Today is the day we're releasing.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
So, like, regardless, you're going to hear this. I have heard nothing but incredible things from this. It's her debut novel, but
love a debut.
I don't know. People know her. I don't know. I have to like kind of like dive into it. But I have heard nothing but like one of the best books I've ever read in my life kind of things. Like that's what I've heard from like a lot of people who have read the ARC. Yeah, I already have it.
Okay.
I already have it from the library. Like I'm number 1 on the holds.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I'm fucking thrilled about it. When I got that notification and I clicked it and I was like, first fucking one. Libby holds are a bitch, and I am so thrilled that I'm first in line. So
you manifested it.
I was so
on our road
excited.
trip.
Literally so excited. Also, Hannah Bonham Young's new book, Next to You, comes out the same day as well. She wrote Out on a Limb, which I absolutely loved. If you have not read Out on a Limb, do not let the accidental pregnancy trope deter you from reading it. It is one of the sweetest stories with the best golden retriever MMC ever. Also, Taming Seven, which is the newest book in the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh, comes out the 16th. I just finally am getting into the first book in the Boys of Tommen series because basically everybody that like I follow that like has the same like similar book taste to me like is obsessed with the series. It's also really daunting, similar similarly to Magnolia Parks, because it's like 700 pages. It's just a lot of book. So I think this is the next couple that she's like tackling. It's rugby sports romance in Ireland, which, I mean, I love a sports romance, so like I'm here for it. I'm also eating up Binding 13.
Good.
And then the last book that I'm obviously so fucking excited about is Emily Henry's new book, Funny Story.
Funny Story, yep.
Coming out the 23rd.
I didn't even put that on my list. I was like, you'll have it.
Like, you know. So fucking excited. It's sick. Like, I'm so excited. And I'm such, like, a whore for Emily Henry books. Like, honestly, I'm just like, I have not met an Emily Henry book that I didn't love. And like, no, they're all like easily like 5 stars for me. So I'm again, high hopes for the books that I have this month. Like I said earlier, I'm also going to be finishing Throne of Glass this month with Kingdom of Ash. 900 pages. So
Buckle in.
Buckle in. I feel like I'm going to devour it though. Just because I've truly fallen in love with this world. Like, I really have. And honestly, I will die on the hill every time I hear someone say that ACOTAR is superior. I literally want to just throw up in my mouth, because I'm like, you're so wrong. You're missing out on this incredible journey of like with these characters that you just feel so like deeply attached to. Yeah. And I mean, I feel the same about like Magnolia Parks, obviously. When you have given, and people who don't read don't understand this, but when you give your time and like to books in the way that you and I give our time to books, you feel like you kind of like mourn the loss of like not being in that same space with them anymore. Like, and I know it sounds crazy. Like, if you're not a reader, you're obviously probably not listening to this, but like it's a different feeling. And it's funny because yesterday I was getting a blowout and I had my Kindle, obviously. And the guy doing my blowout, he was like, oh, like, it was just a horrible experience altogether. We're not going to get into it. But he goes, oh, is that a Kindle? And I was like, yeah, it's a Kindle. And he's like, oh, he goes, like, what do you read? And I was like, oh, I read, like, romance. Like, I mean, that's the general thing is I read romance. And he's like, oh, I read romance in, like, middle school, but, like, I don't read anymore. And I'm like making it, like, feel like I was, like, why are you, like, it's like weird. And I was like,
I don't need your opinion.
I was like, bro, I did not ask your opinion about like what I'm doing. And I'm like, also like, I'm like here for like fucking relaxation and like to be able to read in fucking peace.
Please don't talk to me.
So like, also please don't speak to me. Yeah. It was a nightmare experience in general. But yeah, no, I was like, you know what? Like, kind of like, screw you. I can't stand people who put other people down for things that make them happy. Yeah. Like, is it hurting you? Is it like murder? Like, am I like encouraging murder?
Correct.
No. Like, chill out. Find your own shit. You don't like books? Great. You're missing out. Honestly. Like, bar none.
There's books out there for everyone.
Literally. And if you like put, like, here's the thing, you don't want to read, don't read. That's fine, but don't like put other people down for reading. Like, it's like this like stupid like childish hobby. It's really not. It's actually like so incredible. And like obviously we're only friends because of that. And like
we found each other because of books.
Because of books.
Because
and
family events we weren't seeing each other.
We weren't. You know, funerals are not really the place to like make friends, to foster friendships. No,
that's so true. That is, you nailed that one.
That's true.
Straight to the coffin.
Stop it. Oh my god.
Sorry, I get it.
I
the
mean,
joke
I
was
know
there.
it was there.
You set me up.
Yeah. So those are my ups, like exciting like upcoming releases, but I'm throwing them out. But
okay, so I have 3. I have Rock by Mackenzie Fox. That comes out April 14th. I did not sign up for that arc. You know, I wanted to take a break, and I wanted
proud of you.
I wanted to take a break. I wanted to. I'm going to read it because obviously I'm
big Mackenzie
heavy.
Fox. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm a huge fan, but like I'm also heavy into the series.
Yes.
So I needed to after Tag. I just needed a break, and so I will be reading it, just not before it comes out,
which is okay.
Which is just fine. Caught in the Axe by Daphne Elliott comes out April 11th. I actually just finished that book this morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like in the epilogue, so I finished it.
Oh, and then we will. Are we going to talk about that in this arc segment, or
no? I'm going to talk about it next month. I still have to write the review and everything like that. And then we'll talk. I had a thought and then I was like, retract your statement. Past the Rush by Britt Stark. It came out April 5th. I did receive the arc for this. I did sign up for it. Enjoyable. She's a fantasy author. She has a duet of fantasy, and then she dove into the sports romance world.
Okay.
We will not be talking about it today, but we will be talking about it
next month.
If you are curious about what my thoughts were about that book, please go to my Instagram, Sisters Who Book. My review is up there. But yeah, that's all I really had, because that's what I found. And what I knew what was coming out just based off of...
Yeah. I had arcs, but I didn't read them. So...
But I didn't read
it's
them.
Different. Your arcs, not the same. You know my arc. My arc journey is a very different thing. Because... the arcs I read are typically not indie authors. No. So it's like a mass sending of books.
Yeah.
So there's not the same. And here's the thing. I'm not like putting down like that I'm like some asshole who like doesn't do that. Because I'm such a mood reader. And these books, like I'm not like signing a contract. I'm not like agreeing. Like I'm saying like, if I'm like, it's an indie author and they're like, hey, like this is when we need the review by this.
Yeah.
Totally understand and I will like oblige by that. But like, most of these books are trad published, which means they're traditionally published, like big publishing houses that send out books.
Yeah.
And there's no like, you need to send it by this date, blah, 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 blah. It's not the same. So like,
yeah.
And Amber's like very diligent and like very good at arcs. So like, if you have arcs, like send them to Amber, like don't send them to me. Like, and like it's just different vibe.
Well, I mean, like 3 of the 4 arcs I had this month I'm on their team.
Because like Amber's a big deal. So like just Stop. Like everyone just like
that's so dramatic. Stop.
She's a very big deal.
Oh my god. You're gonna have to like get the Crisco.
No, literally I mean honestly. No, to be on an ARC team, like to be authors choose the people that they want to read these books. It's not their published.
I mean, and you also have to like submit stuff.
You have to be like a big fucking deal. That's what I said. So like, Amber is a big fucking deal.
Oh my god. Okay, Danielle.
Like, all right.
Okay, so let's get into the arc segment. I did Cross-Checked by Maddie Danielle. I did get from the author's arc team. This was a novella in the Hat Trick universe. I have talked about the Hat Trick before. If you're looking into getting into why choose, highly recommend starting with the Hat Trick.
Which she has tried to get me to read.
Correct.
900 times.
Correct.
And this summer I will be reading.
Good. This book is available on KU, and the blurb is, I have it all, and that's not me being conceited. I really do have it all. World-renowned singer, the best support people to ever exist, including my childhood best friend, the same best friend who was the hottest goalie in the NHL. The same man who just told me he has feelings, stronger feelings than just friendship towards me. The same man I've never expected to have in my bed. And yet, that's exactly where he is. The tropes are hockey romance, novella, friends to lovers, pop star, hockey goalie, dual point of view. I rated this book 4 stars, gave it 3 chili peppers. It's a quick read, honestly. Like, it's a novella, so they're all quick. I wish it was a full book. Honestly, I could have.
Oh, we love that.
The entire time.
We love
Spencer
that.
and Jared they're so freaking cute. I love it. The quote I did was, I think it was going to be us no matter what. At some point in our lives, it was always going to be us, just like this. Loved it. It was really cute. I'm really excited for Power Play that comes out.
June, you said? Or July?
I don't remember.
This summer.
Because
summer 2024.
Yeah, it comes out soon. But I'm very excited for Power Play. Okay, and then the next one was A Journey Spared by Alexandra Grace. I got this from Sunny Babe PR. It is available on KU. It is book 1 in the Journey series. And the blurb is, finding a new path can be difficult in the darkness when the darkness threatens to swallow you. When Jackson Vane and his 3 best friends joined the U.S. Marines after high school, he had big dreams. Not only did the service take him away from his father and the city he refused to call home, it also gave him endless opportunity to see the world. But he never dreamed that 8 years would be all he'd get. Now he's being shipped back to Richmond, Virginia with nothing to his name but shattered dreams, a useless medal, 2 broken legs, and a devastated heart. While his injuries hold him captive in his childhood home, Jackson has a new war to fight. He must come to the terms with survivor's guilt, figure out who he is, and most daunting of all, learn how to heal. Avery Mason has burned for Jackson for most of her life. Now that he's back to stay and needs her help, the time is right to claim what she's always wanted. 20 years is an excruciatingly long time to wait for her dreams to come true. The tropes are military veteran, unrequited love, found family, emotional story, road trip. I rated this book 4 stars, spice, 1 chili pepper, content warning. Look, they are in the book, like things like that. Okay, just a quick review of this book. It's an emotional story. Mm-hmm. Obviously, just by the blurb, you can kind of gather that. The one thing that I didn't really enjoy about the book was Avery. She was just very juvenile. She's stuck in, like, I've been obsessed with this boy for my whole life.
You know,
like,
I love that.
But it's very juvenile. It's hard to get through. But once you get through it, the real story begins when he starts his actual healing journey.
Yeah.
Avery is a physical therapist, so she helps him, like, relearn to walk and, like, all of these things. But there is, like, a little bit of relationship. But as soon as he lets her go, because he realizes that, like, this isn't what I want, I'm not ready for this, all these things, and he starts to heal more in his life, that's when I really feel like the journey begins. And I chatted with the author a little bit because she read my review and she had DM'd me, and she's like, I just want to make sure that you know that if you continue the series, like, it's more of him, what you're looking for. And I was like, great, I love that. I want to continue reading because what I've read when he actually started healing,
you enjoyed.
I really enjoyed it. The quote I picked was, I'm grateful for the second chance. It's something my friends didn't get. For them, I won't waste this opportunity. It honestly, if you need something that just kind of, like, gets you a little in your emotions, that's the book. Honestly.
Yeah. And we all need that sometimes.
Sometimes you need a good cry, or you just need something that tears at your heartstrings a little bit. Okay, so the next one was Double Play by A.K. Landow. I got this from being on the author's ARC team. It is available on KU. This is book 1 in the Extra Innings series. The blurb is Leighton. Everyone thinks I have it all, the all-American superstar baseball player, the golden boy of Philly, the notorious playboy. In reality, I'm just a lonely man who knows his career is hanging on by a thread. Then an opportunity presents itself. My team is sold, and the new owners want to keep me around. The catch? I need to enter into a PR relationship with Arizona Abbott, the rising star of the local softball team. The most beautiful woman I've ever met. As it turns out, she's my dream come true. The problem? She's my best friend's sister. Arizona Abbott. After the toughest year of my life, I move across country to play professional softball with my closest friends, to be near my brother, and to leave my baggage behind. Needing to focus on my fresh start, I swear off all baseball players. All of them. In walks Leighton Lancaster, the man whose poster hung above my bed as a teen. I'm asked to pretend to date him to save my team, my league. I can't fall for I can't fall for a man like him again, so I need to keep him at arm's length. The problem, my fantasy man isn't who I thought he was. So freaking good.
I love a PR relationship.
Tropes: best friends, sisters, sports, romance, fake dating, PR relationship, forced proximity, secret relationship, strong FMC, cinnamon roll, rom-com, dual point of view. I gave this book 5 stars, 4 chili peppers. Highly recommend. That's all.
That's it. Like, that's it, folks.
It's so freaking good. I also just devour her books. I think they're just cream of the crop. Quote, I'm not sure what I want. I held on tight to the Cougars for so long because it was the only family I had. I'm starting to see things differently now. Maybe there will be a life for me after baseball. Seriously, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it, guys. That's it. That's the review. That's it. Nothing else. You don't need anything else.
Seriously, just do it. Because if I say anything else, I literally give away so much, and I just don't want to do that.
She's not that person. I am that person.
No.
But I try really hard on the podcast to not give away.
All I'm going to say is Captain America. And if you've read the book, you know. If you haven't, you should definitely dive in.
And then you'll know.
It's so good. Okay. My last one was Hours by Mandy Muse.
Last but not least, by the way. Last but not least. Certainly not least.
No. Hours by Mandy Muse. I did get this from the author's, being on the author's ARC team.
Because she's a big deal.
Thank you, Mandy. Available on KU. This is a standalone. It falls in a universe with a book called Sharp Love by Mandy Muse, but they can be read completely as standalones. The blurb. If you're listening with children, I don't suggest.
I mean, most of the time you probably shouldn't be listening with children because, like, I can't censor myself worth a damn. So I hope it's already muted at this point.
But this one, there's just some stuff that, yeah. Okay. The blurb. It's just sex. That's what our contract says, at least. After getting royally screwed over by one too many online dates, it's perfect. I'm done with relationships. The night I run into Easton, my ex's best friend, and then Vincent, everything changes. They offer everything I want and more. I sign the dotted line, and I'm thrown into a world of spankings, restraints, and demands for my submission by Easton, the one I shouldn't want, and Vincent, the man who likes it when I call him daddy. I'm completely at their mercy. They command my body, but my heart follows their demands for trust too. The lines of our contract are getting blurry. The further they push me, the more I wish I could burn each page and make it disappear. Because this isn't just about sex anymore. I want them to be mine, but do they want the same thing? The tropes are MMF romance, age gap, daddy kink, son's best friend, billionaire, dom, sub, and switch. Ex's best friend, and multiple point of view. I rated this 4.5 stars. All the fucking chili peppers, to be honest.
Infinity of chili peppers.
This Mandy Muse does MMF flawlessly. I found this on the web.
Whatever they found on the web is not. No,
I don't want to know.
No, Siri.
Thank you, but no. Like I said before, Mandy Muse does MMF flawlessly. She just, so freaking good.
And we're gonna be talking about Cursed Beasts on the next episode too,
which is MMFM. So you know, but literally so freaking good. I've already had 2 people that read this book as soon as it came out after I read it, and they both were like, "Holy crap, so good, so good." The quote is, I could deny it all I wanted, but my mind could... I could deny it all I wanted. My mind could protest, but my heart told me I was full of shit. They were mine, and I was theirs, and this love is ours.
And the Taylor Swift song that goes along with that is ours. Except not.
But that is it for the ARC segment.
As far as April goes, obviously we talked about we're reading Swift and Saddled this month.
Yes,
We've said it about probably 75 times. Probably last month too, I think we said it. It was a really solid reading month. But
yeah. I mean, I've already finished 2 books.
I don't know how many I finished. 1. Oh, Shark Heart.
Oh, God.
Stay tuned for the Shark Heart review as one of the worst books.
No, literally.
But yeah, so that's where we're at for March, solid reading month. Please make sure that you listen to our 2 book episodes this month, because we've got one for Fourth Wing and one for Crispies, obviously.
For our buddy reads.
So stick around. Buddy reads. I mean, they were buddy
they
reads,
were,
but like
we didn't read them.
It's like yeah, it was buddy. We read them because we're buddies.
But like, no, but like we both know nothing what the other thought.
No,
except for ratings.
Except for like ratings, but like very minimal. So I'm
this is very exciting. So stay tuned for those 2 episodes coming following later in the month.
Yeah, not next month, next week. And don't forget to do all the things like subscribe, follow, listen, comment,
and hopefully by the time we record for May,
we will be
set up. Maybe.
No, we will.
Okay, we're manifesting it. We will be set up.
Are in the house.
Well,
so
okay, the house does exist.
The house is like here. It's standing. But yeah, no, I'm like very excited. Will it be like fully done? Probably not. But like we will have like a cute little space.
Yeah.
And we'll have like we'll have like video, so
which is all that matters.
All that matters. But thank you guys for listening.
Yes, we will miss you, book besties. See you next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in today to Tropes and Tantrums. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. And don't forget, happy reading.